Perfect David Stewart here. Today we are going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about the specific distinction between friends and enemies in politics and masks, which I think are one of the best examples of this. So if you've been following me on Twitter, I tend to link this Carl Schmitt quote all the time, which is that, basically everything comes down to the friend and enemy distinction. The specific political distinction to which political actions and motives can be reduced is that between friend and enemy. I've made this point before. Most political things are about rewarding friends and punishing enemies, whether that's, gun control exists to punish Republicans, not really to move a needle on violent crime. It has never and will never do that. But masks, I think, are one of the best examples of this because we've seen the narrative rewrite itself over the last year. So if you were with me last year, I told you guys, get ready for a ride because coronavirus is coming and it's going to be bad. And I told people to stock up on food, and half of you called me crazy, and then everything I said would happen happened because I'm not crazy. Rather, I could see the way that these things were going. But what was interesting is how this thing in particular became part of the friend-enemy distinction. So once coronavirus and the mask started entering into the political discourse and everything got shuffled up, and it ended up being people on the left, the corporatist side wanted everybody mask up, and then the people on the right, the localist, non-corporatist side, were like, I'm not wearing a mask. Then it really became about, we have to mandate masks. It's the most important moral thing ever. And we have to refuse to wear masks. It's the most important moral thing ever. It became a political conflict, and it primarily became about punishing enemies. Forcing people to wear masks who don't want to wear masks, if they're your enemies, that's perfect because you're punishing your enemies. At the same time, forcing everyone to wear a mask when your friends think it's their civic duty to wear a mask and it's good for them to wear a mask and they want to wear a mask, it's not punishment for them. So it's a perfect example of how you can punish your enemies and reward your friends, or at least not punish your friends at the same time. Because half the people view it as their civic duty to do it. They have a religious belief that this will somehow stop all the illness from happening, and then you have other people who are going to feel that this is a punishment, and they're being specifically targeted, and they are. That's the crazy thing about it. Now, if you time travel back with me a year, told people to buckle up. I had a lot of N95. This is not an N95 mask because I got coronavirus during the summer, and I didn't get it from the store, by the way. I actually got it from my children, so my precautions were probably working to prevent me from getting it while I was at the store. But I told people, get ready, mask up, take precautions, wash your hands, wear gloves. You don't want to get this because it's looking pretty bad in China. The liberals, the left, the corporatists were like, no, you can't stop travel with China. This is not a big deal. Everyone just needs to get the virus and get it over with because it's going to be bad. And then as soon as the political shuffling happened, if you guys remember the discussions from that time, it wasn't until everything got lined up that it became about the friend-enemy thing. Once it was like, we're against coronavirus stuff on the right, it didn't matter that whether this is effective or not doesn't really matter. People are going to view it as a punishment enacted upon them. And it is, because once it entered into the political side, the other side would be like, well, we need to punish them by making them wear a mask. They don't want to do it. We should make them do it. And the fact that they don't like it is even better. We need to make people that are our enemies do things that they don't like to do. And the double mask thing is just another example of what I'm talking about. It's just another signal, because they had managed to get enough people forced to do this through threat of punishment all over the world, really, that we had to take it to another level. How can you signal that you are extra virtuous, that you are definitely on the right side? Well, you can wear two masks, because two masks are going to be more effective than one mask. Kind of depends on the mask, right? Like I said, I was wearing the N95 full-on respirator masks, which are what the people in the emergency room, what they were wearing to try to stop the spread of that. Other people were making cloth masks out of old panties or something to try to cover their mouth. Of course, those are not going to be effective. You don't have the same level of effectiveness, and it's not binary. So a lot of people have a hard time thinking outside of binary terms. This is not 100%. Nothing can be 100% effective. Okay, it's just how marginally effective it is versus what's the downside of using it. So as things start to open back up, and I live in a community that really never followed the rules to begin with, so there's not a whole lot of extra opening up to do. But as things open up, you're going to see this really just becomes not just a part of a political thing, but also a religious thing. People will double mask because they have a religious belief that they should do this, that it's somehow part of their duty. It's like wearing hijab or something like that. Like it's somehow part of the law for them to wear it, even if other people are not participating in it. And of course, if other people are not participating and you can make them participate in some way and they don't want to, that's just extra icing on the cake because you're getting to punish your enemies through the use of masks. So mask mandates are not about preventing the spread. They're not about preventing the spread. Same thing with lockdowns, because it's primarily about rewarding friends and punishing enemies. Once it entered into the political sphere, then any kinds of arguments for practicality really go out the door. So lockdowns are another example of punishing enemies, is that because the main political distinction that is emerging in the United States is not between the left as it was and the right as it was, or capitalism and socialism. It's large-scale corporatism. So it's the mega corporate and the mega state, the high-level organization, top down, versus localism, people who are in a community, in families, that sort of thing. You can think of this, it doesn't fit the old liberal conservative dichotomy at all, and that really hasn't fit those words at this point for almost 100 years. But that's the big division, corporate versus local. So the lockdowns have not hurt the corporatists, have they? So the lockdowns improved the state of Amazon, at least their capital operating. Streaming services got lots of people to subscribe and to make money off them. All the big mega corporations are fine, not only fine, but the lockdowns improved what they were doing because they tend to focus on shipping things and doing things online and doing things at a large enough scale that they can get around the lockdowns. But the local businesses are the ones who have to close their doors and go bankrupt. So it's the localists that end up suffering. So if you can impose 2 weeks to flatten the curve has become a year. And it's become a year because it's an opportunity to punish localists, those local Republican business owners that are predominantly on the enemy distinction as far as the corporatists go. They get extra punished, and you get to reward your friends as well. So it's the same thing. If someone perceives this as a punishment, you're going to make them do it, and you're going to use the state to do it because you need to punish your enemies. And if someone perceives it as their civic duty, then it's not a punishment to them. So it's a double whammy. It's something that's double good for this sort of thing, this political distinction. Now, I haven't made a specific video on the corporatist localist distinction, but that is the new political division. It's full-on giant megacorps controlling everything, working in tandem, versus localists trying to operate in competitive business and also trying to manage their lives for themselves and manage their locality the way that is going to fit in their locality, whether that is adding rules or taking rules away. Localists view things differently. And I can talk more about that in a future video. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about masks and that sort of thing for this little video. Great example of how before this entered the political arena, we could actually have discussions about this, and I could actually tell people to wear this without them getting super upset. And then after it enters the political arena, facts don't even matter. It doesn't matter whether it works or it doesn't work. It doesn't matter that 2 masks might be marginally more effective than 1, because wearing 2 masks is really about a signal. It's not about any kind of effectiveness, because you can never get to 100%. You could wear 20 masks and you could still catch it, because nothing can be 100%. I'm going to wear 2 masks. How's the air getting in? Well, there's some air getting in this. It's going to get in the side. Nothing is 100%. You have to get over the binary thinking if you're one of those people that's like that. So anyway, guys, thanks so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I do have books. I sell books. I sell them through Amazon. I sell them through the Megacorp. I'm on Team Amazon for Megacorps. You have to decide what Megacorp team you're going to be on. Here's a couple fantasy books. Both of these are good. I will have a sequel to this one, sort of. And I'll have book 3 in this series this year, as well as book 3 in this series, the Moonsong series. I think that's the next thing I'm going to work on. So make sure you're on my mailing list, dbspress.com/list, and of course, Keys to Prolific Creativity. People really like this. Very good advice for how to fit creativity in your life and get your work habits going so you can be productive and happy while still having your priorities in line for a fun and enjoyable life. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.